Well, your little Mr. Ryder, what a terrific student he is.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, a couple of really great qualities that he has that really adds to our classroom as a whole is he's very social, which is a wonderful quality because he makes lots of friends and he uses his social skills to help other students. When he's a helper on the helper board, he takes his duties and responsibilities very seriously, and he is a wonderful helper in all areas
Good.
that we ask him. And then when he does have certain responsibilities and duties, he really shows a lot of leadership skills, and he's able to take that role of leader. So really a lot of great qualities that he has.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What we're going to talk about today is his reading and the 5 components of reading and the assessments that I just recently have done to gauge where he's at and to show his areas of strength and areas of growth.
Okay.
So basically the 5 components of reading are phonemic awareness, phonological awareness, vocabulary, and fluency and comprehension, which usually go together. I'm going to explain to you real quickly what each one of those are, just to kind of reiterate exactly what they mean. Phonemic awareness is the smallest unit of verbal oral sound, so the sound of a letter, as saying it, hearing it, recognizing it, and being able to manipulate it. Phonological awareness is more about the relationship between the letters written and the sounds, being able to understand that when you see the written letters and words that they have specific sounds and certain sounds, the beginning of words, the end of words, whether words rhyme, that's the phonological awareness. Vocabulary basically is the words that you know, the words that a student knows, that they understand the word and the definition, that's their vocabulary. And then fluency and comprehension, usually, like I said, they are looked at together. Fluency is the speed and accuracy that the student reads, and then comprehension is, does he understand what he read? Can he retell what he read, or can he answer questions about what he read? So those are the 5 components, and we, in 4th grade, we look at 4 of those. So we look at the phonological awareness, the vocabulary, the fluency, and the comprehension, and that's the areas that I have done assessments on. So I'm going to talk about those assessments and his strengths and his growth areas now. Do you have any questions or comments at this point?
Oh, pretty good. Appreciate it.
Okay. First of all, I have the assessments, so if you want to take a look at them, look through them, feel free to do that. The first assessment for the phonological awareness is the elementary spelling inventory, where I basically asked him or told him a word and he needs to spell it back to me. The second assessment is for the vocabulary, and that's the word meaning test, where I give him a word and he just tells me what the meaning of the word is.
Okay.
And the last assessment was a combination of the fluency and comprehension, and it's a passage from ReadWorks. He reads it. I gauge his fluency as he's reading it, and then at the end I ask him questions, ask him to retell what he read to gauge his comprehension.
Okay.
So let's start with the first inventory, the elementary spelling inventory, and I'll go through his strengths and his areas for growth. His strengths from this assessment were consonants, short vowels, digraphs, which is basically letters put together that make another sound, blends, which is letters put together that you still hear each letter sound in that, and then long vowels. So all of those, he was very strong in those areas. The areas that he showed that he needs growth would be inflected endings, so endings to words where you would need to change the ending a little bit, or drop an E, or change a Y to an I, those types of things before adding an ending. Syllable juncture, so in a word where the syllables are marked off. Unaccented final syllables, which would be syllable or the endings that maybe sound the same but have different spellings. And then harder suffixes and base and roots. So those were his areas of growth.
Okay.
For vocabulary, he was very good with when he knew a word, he could give the definition in 1 or 2 words instead of long sentences to try to describe it. So that was his area of strength. And then his area of growth for vocabulary was if he didn't know a word, he just would guess at it. For fluency and comprehension, with the fluency, he's at grade level, but with being at grade level, he did miss words within that. So his area would be to grow his vocabulary so that he could hit all those words. And then for comprehension, he did really well with retelling and answering the questions, knowing the details, but when it came to the bigger picture, the themes, drawing inferences, he didn't really know where to get that from. So that would be an area of growth. Any questions at this point for you before I go into the strategies?
So all of these are things you're going to work on in the classroom in the upcoming months so that he'll be on par with the growth aspects?
Correct.
Okay.
And then I'm also going to give you some suggestions to work at home with him
Okay, great.
in these areas. So in the first area for inflected endings, I'm going to work with him in small group and some one-on-one. He does well in small group. We're going to do some progression with word pairs. So we'll give him the word with the ending, and then he'll match it up. And that's the start of it. And then we progress to give him the word. He writes the word with the ending with the correct spelling, and then he matches it up. So it'll progress along those levels. And he'll work with other students in a small group, so they'll each take turns. The next strategy that we'll be working on is syllable junctures, and we're going to do word sorts and a game called Double Scoop. He'll have charts and columns where he'll look at certain patterns in words like vowel, consonant, consonant, or vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, and he'll put that in the right columns so that he can start to see those patterns and know where those syllables break in the words. And the game will also reiterate those same repetition of those same skills. The next thing that we'll do, we'll work with is for vocabulary, is word maps, where he would put a word in the center of a word map, and it would be a word that he doesn't know. And then branching out from that, he'll look up words that have the same meaning. He'll use words that maybe he already knows that are similar once he understands the definition. He'll put also words of the definition in that word map so that each new word he'll have a nice word map that he created, which will work good with his personality because he likes to be creative. So those are 3 of the strategies that we'll be using. One other strategy that I'll be using for comprehension will be a mystery passage. And that will be like reading something to a certain point and stopping, sets up a mystery, and he has to think about what might come next.
Right, out of finish.
Okay. So some of the things that I would like to offer you to do at home would be, he told me how you ask him to read signs to you. You can't see it, he reads it to you. So continue to do that. And if he comes to a word on a sign he doesn't know, ask him to tap out the syllables or to tap it out, to sound it out. And then you can also help him with asking him, what pattern do you see? So he can think about the charts that he's doing in school. He could think about the patterns, and then he could put it into those patterns and those syllables, and he can decode the words.
Okay.
Another thing that you could do with him while he's reading is, if he comes to a word he doesn't know, you say a word that's similar to that word that would have the same meaning, and then ask him to think of another word, and then you think of a word and say it, and he thinks of a word, and you just go back just a couple of times back and forth. So that's like the word map that we're doing, but verbally. So you'll do that with him at home. And then finally, to help with his comprehension, there's a little game that you can play that it says, I said, I say, and so. So you have him read a passage, you stop him at a certain point and say, okay, it said, and then repeat something that it said. And then have him, then you say to him, and then you say, so he has to say something that relates to that passage that it said, a personal experience. And then after that, you say, and so, and then he has to continue with the and so what's going to happen next. Helps him with inferences, and that will help with his comprehension. So do you have any questions or comments or thoughts about any of the strategies or the home help?
No, looking forward to it. He's enjoying going to school and having a good time and looking forward to it.
Okay, well, I think